don't understand. Even as a man, they didn't find me funny. Even as a man, I didn't get the roaring applause and laughter that I expected. Could it be that I have to work on my material and delivery?
G'day, nosebleeders. I know, it's pretty bad. Now, before any of you hilarious goofy goobers tell me in the comments that I've got a neck beard, wrong! Get discernment! I actually don't have much of a neck beard because I can't stop picking at it. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I got back from a camp and realized, oh wow, I was just at a camp with a whole bunch of people who over the course of 3 days watched me pull my neck beard out. Please send help. So if you couldn't tell by the title of the video, A, what is wrong with you? Or B, now that I think about it, I did leave the title a bit vague, so I'm sorry. I love you guys. Don't unsubscribe! What will I have to live for then? I need the validations of strangers on the internet. This isn't even a joke.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
For today's video, I thought I'd try out something that I've been wanting to try out for a little bit and then thought, hey, I actually got a way to figure out how to actually do that and make a video out of it. Just today. Level 200 IQ, boys. And
women.
Don't discriminate. Why would a girl watch my stuff? They'd have to be seriously demented to watch what I do. Now, I've got a huge video coming out next week, Thursday. Unless you live in the northern hemisphere. Do I live in the southern hemisphere? Do I live in the southern Chris Hemsworth? But for now, I thought we'd look at an argument that's being perpetuated by comedians who happen to be female, who also happen to be bad at being comedians. What I'm talking about is the whole,
You don't think I'm funny because I'm a woman.
Yeah! Everyone else is just a horrible person except you. And everyone who thinks and believes everything you do, but everyone else, disgusting! Now, the most notable comedian who happens to be female, who also happens to suck at being a comedian, who happens to be spreading this stupid argument is Amy Schumer. Probably because she's the most popular female comedian at the moment, which is a very sad reality for female comedians. She is not very good. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with niche comedy or a niche comedian catering towards a said niche audience, but when the entirety of your audience consists solely of women who aren't that into comedy, that may be an indication that you're not as good as you think you are. Like, I've been loving Joy Coy recently, and he's been getting a lot of love from Filipino audiences from describing his experiences growing up in a Filipino household, and also Mexican audiences because they have similar experiences. But the difference with Joy Coy is that when he describes what it was like growing up in a Filipino household, even if you didn't, he describes it in a way that's still funny. And when your material consists solely of A, stealing other people's jokes but telling them worse, and B, pointing at the fact that you do, in fact, have a pajamas, it's no surprise that most people aren't gonna find you funny. I mean, there are plenty of funny ways to talk about one's Jemima. Like, I was watching Date Night with my parents, which is a great movie, by the way, with Steve Carell and Tina Fey, and Tina flippin' Fey! My gosh, she is funny. So we were watching the bloopers where Steve Carell and Tina were coming up with funny ways to mimic and imitate and make fun of this other couple that they're supposed to make jokes about. And Tina came up with this most golden line, made me just lunge forward in shock and in laughter. And I just turned to my parents and I was just like, how did she come up with that? The joke was something along the lines of,
Yeah, that's really interesting, but I'm gonna go home and look at my Jemima in a hand mirror.
After hearing that, I wanted to pick her brain. I wanted to understand the mind of a comedian. Understand the mind that has been trained to come up with funny sentences and funny ways to say them. That is what a comedian should do! Another example is Joanne Rivers, who unfortunately is no longer with us, considered by many as one of the greats. And she was famous for talking about taboo subjects. Nothing was off limits. 9/11, sex, whatever. It didn't matter. If she thought that she could spin it and turn it into a funny joke, she would do it. And she is one of the best to have ever done it. There are funny ways that one can talk about their Jemima, but simply going,
I have a Jemima. Am I right, ladies? Any other ladies here have a Jemima? Oh my gosh, we have Jemimas.
Yo, who would have thought that a woman would have a Jemima? The difference between them and Amy Schumer is wit and actually having a punchline, also known as talent. Where's the wit? Where's the punchline? You've got none. She's got no wit, got no punchlines, succeeding through a Netflix specials are grand. Now all these people who just love Amy Schumer will go online and say,
you know what? She may not be one of the great amongst men, but she's one of the greats. She'll be remembered as the great. She's got a lot of haters, but she'll be remembered as one of the greats. She's a pioneer of female comedy. She says jokes that society says women can't joke about.
no! All these trash tier female comedians with their pop feminism takes.
They apologise for, this isn't going to be a good speech. I wonder what you make of that. How did we get to that place?
I think because so many people hate women.
Who would win? The explanation that maybe you're not funny? Or that
Everyone is sexist!
Occam's razor would suggest you suck. There have been plenty of female comedians with actually good takes on feminism and actually challenging society at large through their comedy. I remember that I was watching this documentary on Australian comedy, and at one point they showed this comedian who did a TV series in which she played a bloke that was pregnant, and how everything was such a huge issue. She had a message that if women were to complain like this, because they're actually pregnant, right? Women are the ones that get pregnant. They can't complain, but everything a man complains about is such a huge deal, and how big of a deal it would be more if he was pregnant. Unfortunately, when I tried to find some information about her and find out her name, because I couldn't remember because I only saw her once in this documentary, everything that came up was Google.
Have you ever had a dream? Check out these now hit in feminist Australian comedian.
Shut up. Now I can't find any information under this cesspool of...
Check out these hard-hitting now in Australian feminists who are challenging the patriarchy.
And I can't find one about an actual good female comedian who had a feminist message through her comedy that, actually made sense. Now, while this is a pop feminism take from them, I do think that it is a result of much of the direction that third and fourth radical feminism is going in. I actually made a video on that. TLDW, why am I pointing? It's like, you can click it here. No, what am I doing? No, yes! What? Here is the video. Look for this on the channel. TLDW, it's because its premise is completely outdated when trying to analyze modern contemporary Western society. Japan and all the other developed non-Western societies as well. Also, yes! I'm not just an angry, shouty neckbeard man. For those of you who haven't seen my other videos, I'm actually I have some big think going on. Also, yes, I do actually care about women's rights. Most people in developed societies do care. We just don't like the way that people are going about it. You know what? While we're on the topic of Australian female comedians, let me shout out Kitty Flanagan. She is one of my favorite comedians. She's been tearing up the Australian scene for years, and I want to see her getting some more international recognition. Another recommendation would definitely have to be Judith Lucy, one of the most respected and possibly one of the greatest female comedians in Australian history. The way she just owns the stage, and she's so calm and she's just so calm and classy about it, unlike me who's choking on their words. the way she just owns the stage, she just, with this calm demeanor, she's like, so I've been finding myself watching CSI recently. I'm like, since when did I find that to be a good night, you know? Having a bottle of wine and watching a show about rape. Now with Amy Schumer, I can kind of understand how this mindset develops, with all these people telling you you're terrible, and then these other half of people telling you,
You're a creative comedy. You're a pioneer for women. For women! You're a pioneer for women!
when she's actually just doing things that Mike's not in good position. Talking about subjects that other women have been talking about much funnier than her. How did she get into comedy and know so little about the history of female comedy? I'm foaming again. It's actually appalling. It shows how little she actually cares about it, and probably why she feels okay stealing other people's jokes. Hey! Anyway, as I was saying before I went on that tangent, I can understand how Amy Schumer gets caught in this mindset, but there's been other cases of female comedians who happen to be to suck at being comedians, and it's actually really sad. Like, you're like, wow, these people are incredibly insecure. They want to think that they're good, but they're just not. And so they just get this conspiracy theory in their head that no one thinks that they're funny. And when that breaks down, they break down.
I have a Comedy Central, a half-hour special, and I'm also the voice of Lenny on the Cartoon Network, Joy Cab.
All right, well, let me write all this down.
Okay.
I love animals. I would never buy any, product that had been tested on animals. Never, because I like to do that myself at home. Make sure the control group is isolated. You don't know what they're doing in these labs. Very loose guidelines. This lady wants me. I can totally tell. I used to always carry a man purse, a merce. You ever carry one of those? A merce. I loved it. I loved that merce. But I was losing it. I'd lose it everywhere. I was always leaving my merce around. You know, I kept losing my merce. But I just started carrying everything, my person, my pants. I only lost my pants a couple of times. So that's really working out. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
I'm telling you, it was great. One, none of them understood you. They were all foreigners, so you got some laughs, right? That's your first time on stage as a guy. It's like you were new and you got laughs.
I know, but I felt like I was gonna I just thought like...
I don't understand. Even as a man, they didn't find me funny. Even as a man, I didn't get the roaring applause and laughter that I expected. Could it be that I have to work on my material and delivery? No, that's just so wrong. That's so wrong. Things were just so much easier when everyone was sexist, and when my simplistic ideology of how the world works wasn't literally crumbling around me as I sit in this corner and this guy tells me that I'm actually funnier when I'm myself instead of being a man. Now I realize that I actually have to be funny for people to think that I'm funny. And that I actually have to tell real jokes for people to think that I tell funny jokes. People were supposed to find it funny when I just randomly sexually harassed a woman for no reason. What, are you telling me that it's true that most men are just disgusting pigs and that society does frown upon randomly sexually harassing women, which is why it's illegal? That's supposed to be a myth. It's supposed to be a myth that it's frowned upon. Could it be true that there's a huge difference between randomly sexually harassing someone and making a hypothetical joke which is only funny because if you were to do something like that in real life it would be disgusting and wrong? I can't deal with something that complex. can't deal with complex jokes. I can't deal with a complex world. Maybe comedy and reality isn't for me after all. This isn't fair. Things were just so much better when everyone was sexist. And when the simplistic worldview that is literally crumbling around me as I speak could just be applied to anyone, and I could just blame everyone else for the fact that I'm not a professional comedian. Being a professional comedian was just supposed to be so easy because I'm just that good. Like I'm just God's gift of comedy to this world. How come being a professional at something is so difficult?
Hey, how you doing? My name is DiXtion. I'm a Christian on a mission, and it's with conviction. I stay in the claim that the savior of our race, Jesus is his name and his game is grace. Hey, how you doing? My name is DiXtion. I'm a Christian on a mission, and it's with conviction. I stay in the claim that the savior of our race, Jesus is his name and his game is grace.